Hi quilters! So today is not a quilting video, but how many of you have made a denim quilt? Yes, lots of us have made denim quilts. We save the family denim jeans for a long period of time, and then we make quilts like this, or maybe like this, but we throw away part of the jeans. So some of us save the pocket and embellish the quilt with the pockets. But what about this? So what about all of the seams that you cut away? Yes, you cut these away and you throw them in the trash. Well, I have a project for you. Next time, if you are in the process of saving your denim scrap and making a scrap quilt out of it, save your seams, because today I am going to show you how to upcycle or recycle the denim jean seams to where you can make an excellent project, whether it be a placemat, a rug. Today we're going to make a tote bag. And I've already made one of these. Every time I carry this bag, it doesn't look like much of anything in the picture, but people compliment it every time I use it. And people want to know where I got it, want to know if I'll make them one. I don't have time, otherwise I would. Let's get started. Okay, obviously these scraps have a right side and a wrong side. You're going to choose which side you want to be the outside. I'm always going to want my darkest blue to be on the outside, except maybe on the very bottom of my bag, to where when I look in my bag I'm going to see this instead of this. Obviously you're going to pick the longer pieces for the bottom of the bag. My original bag, which I cannot find, I started out in a spiral and I made a few snips and then I just sewed in a circle. But this time I'm going to start it differently. I am going to sew my pieces like this into a strip that kind of creates a rectangle for the bottom of my bag. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to determine how big you want the bottom of your bag. I want mine like a tote bucket bag, so I'm wanting it about 3 to 5 inches on the bottom. Now keep in mind, as you sew this, it's going to enlarge to the top like a bucket. So if you want a big bag, be careful of how big you make your bottom. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I might ditch one of these to where when I sew these all together, they are going to be about 4 inches across. I may take a couple strips out. I know my wallet needs to fit in there, and I carry my great big glass water drinking bottle, so I want it to at least accommodate that. Those are my two big things, and then go from there. I measured this out. This is about 12 inches long. I may trim that down after I get these sewn together. Now you're going to want to come to your machine and you're going to want to select zigzag, and then here's where you're going to select how far apart your stitches are. That you're going to set your zigzag to the widest possible. That way it will bite into both of the items you're sewing. And this is going to be similar to making a jelly roll rug if you've ever made one of those. This is the same technique, except you're just using a different medium. You are going to need a walking foot. This will help you out. Is it necessary? No, but it keeps everything at an even feed. You're going to butt your two pieces together, like so. And it doesn't matter if there is a raw edge, that does not matter. And you're going to make it to where you're going to center your needle, and it's going to bite into each part of the structural part of this seam. And let's see what I got here. I just stitched this together, and then each time you stitch, you're going to want to make sure that everything is caught, because let's face it, you don't want to get out in public, load your purse down, and then you end up blowing out a hole. And you can go back and do this twice if you don't think that this is strong enough. I am using Aurifil thread. That is not the strongest thread. That's kind of a dainty thread. You may want, and I'm going to go back and stitch that right there. You may want to use a polyester thread for this. Let me butt these up and sew this just a little bit better. I've got my machine set on fast. I'm going to turn that down because slow and steady wins the race on this. And that closed that part up. If you want to do multicolor on the outside of your denim, you could certainly empty all of your full bobbins on this. And yes, okay, I'm pulling on this, and it looks like I've got this structured correctly now. Oh, there's a spot right there. I'm going to go ahead and stitch right there. Make sure that we've got integrity on the very bottom of it. On the sides, it doesn't matter so much. All right. Okay, much better. All right, so now I'm going to butt up the next piece. And I am going to sew my zigzag. You're just butting these up, and this top piece has got extra fabric, so don't be fooled. I am centering this. And this, we are making the bottom of the bag. Alright, I'm going to inspect my stitches and give them a little tug. And that one actually did really, really well. Okay, no rework on that one. So I'm going to grab another strip, and I'm going to repeat this process until I get my bag bottom approximately the size I want it. This would also make a great pot holder or a trivet for your stove. And I'm keeping my seam in the exact middle so that it bites into the structure of these seams. Alright, I have got my thing, my water thing, and I probably need to add one more strip on this to get it the right width. Okay, now that we have the bottom of the bag done, I'm going to have the bottom of my bag face up, and I am going to go, let's see, I'm going to go one lap around this and then start coiling my bag. Alright, I have the bottom of my bag finished, and I'm going to go back and look and see. It looks like I missed on this corner, so I'm going to restitch. No one will ever see these if you use a gold thread or even a blue thread. And it looks like I missed again. That was really zigzagged. Alright, now I'm ready to turn and stitch. Okay, I am going to zigzag all of this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to stitch this. Okay, I'm going to zigzag it on the outside of the bag. Alright, that very first strip I put on wrong, but it doesn't matter. It's at the bottom of the bag. I'm not redoing it. Alright, so now I have a little bit to go on. I'm going to go back and make sure that I don't have any holes. And this is where we start coiling the basket, just like a clothesline basket or a rope basket. Yes. And like so. And that is in the way. The next round will be better. Foot came loose and it's a little wide. You know what? I'm going to ditch this foot and I'm going to use a foot to see if that'll get me anything. Actually, that might actually work really good. And it doesn't even sound like it's sewing now, so. walking foot was noisy. And we have a rip out. Look at that, it ripped out. All right, there. We've made one trip. It doesn't sound like it's sewing, but we've made a trip. All right, I'm gonna proceed. I'm not gonna worry about little gaps for right now. I can go back and fix those. This end did rip out. I will probably have to repair that. That was dumb on my part. Okay. I'm just going to continue along now that I've got the shape of my bag, which was a tremendous struggle. Hopefully this video will help you not struggle as much, because I have no pattern. I'm going off the memory of about 10 years ago of making one of these. And I should be really close to being out of bobbin thread. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and bring it to the front, and now I'm going to shrink my bag by doing so. I'm bringing this to the front because if you continue to stair step it on the outside, it will slowly grow to a humongous bag towards the top. So I'm going to shrink it back down by putting one strip on top instead of on the bottom, or butting them up to one another. I'm kind of and that was a whole lot easier rounding that corner. We're getting there. Okay, I have gotten to the top. I have a lot of threads to trim. Basically, you want to look in your bag and do a couple tugs. I see here I didn't sew. I'm going to go ahead and sew the spots that didn't sew. I did add a tag on this. Goodness gracious. I did add a tag. And I will show you that in a minute. Let's see. I got that one. It seemed to be a trouble spot for me as I rounded. I was hitting the back of my buffet. I saved some of these from the jeans that I tore up and made sure that those were on top as I sewed. And then I also saved the tag, which all of these jeans are Wrangler jeans, so heck yeah. Not all of them are rugged wear. They're just normal jeans. Could I have put a zipper in this? Yeah, that's really hard on the machine though. This would make an excellent rug. If you look here, my bowl got too wide, so I just cut it, brought it in on one another, and then re-sewed it, and to keep it kind of even, although this bag, it doesn't matter if it's even. And then once I fill this up with contents, Now for the straps, this is what I've got. So my previous bag was also made with this kind of belt. This belt I bought at, this is leather, you can smell it, it smells wonderful. I bought it at Goodwill for $1. What I will do is I will take one of these connectors and I will put fabric over it and I will stitch this and shorten the strap and basically cut this in half. And I probably will use my seam ripper on this end to take it apart, and those will be the size of my straps. If you wanted a larger strap, you certainly could do that. It would require more than one belt. And therefore, this whole bag will have been upcycled, except for the thread. And it worked great. Absolutely worked fine. Everything is easy to find in this. When you set it down, when you carry it, it automatically closes. Okay? And when you set it down, it automatically opens. I don't know if that'll be a problem for you. It might be a problem for some. I like being able to see in my bag and not have to search around for 10 minutes to everything that falls to the bottom. You could make a hat, and I have lots of little pieces leftovers. You could take a hot glue gun and you could glue all these together, and you could make a pom-pom out of these for a little one. You could do all kinds of stuff with these. My favorite thing though is to make a hot pad for a hot plate, or this would make a good pot holder. Not necessarily one that you would put on your hand, because this is so stiff, I think it might slip off your hand and you might burn yourself. So maybe sew a pocket. You will not be able to do this on a vintage machine because you need the extra lift of your presser foot by pushing up on your presser foot lever, because this is so thick it wants to grab. And as you use this, it will loosen up and you will discover more spots. But if you put a liner in this, you won't need to sew it for rugged ability. It'll be just fine. And that spot looks like it needs to be sewn. I'm going to go ahead and go over that spot.